Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to today's live session. I'm very excited for the incredible conversation we are going to have today. We're on the 69th session here live on YouTube, and it's been an amazing journey being here with you, serving you, and adding value. And that's why today I wanted to address a topic that's been on my mind for quite some time, but I kind of kept delaying it out of two reasons. The first reason is I thought maybe it's not the right topic to cover yet. But the second reason why I was keep continuing to delay it was because I was somewhere a bit confused if my own position on the topic was clear or not. And that's why I didn't want to just come on here and rather than clarity, share just that confusion with you. And over the past few weeks, as I have personally made a lot of decisions about my life, as I've continued to grow the business, as I've continued to engage in different conversations with my coaches and continue to see their problems from a lot of different lenses, I've come to the conclusion on that confusion that was going on for me for a long time. So I thought, you know what? Let's address that topic today and let me share the findings of those experiments with you, of the way I was thinking, and how those findings can actually help you upgrade your life to the next level. So, first, I want to begin by sharing the confusion with you so you understand where I'm coming from, okay? Because if you don't know that base, will not be able to continue the conversation further. It was a very simple, it might seem simple on the surface, but actually a very consequential question that I was holding on to. That was, how big of a role do our emotions play in our growth and our decision making? And it might seem simple that they do play a big role. Like, if you don't feel good, you won't act good. If you don't feel motivated, you won't do the things that are needed to do. So, of course, emotions play a big role in the growth you make in life and in the decisions you make. Yet, on the other hand, there's another faction of thought or another way of approaching success or all these other ideas that essentially says your feelings don't matter, your mood doesn't matter, just stick to the plan, and that's how you get greatness. And I always thought it's either one way or the other. That you either disregard your feelings and just stick to the plan and work like a robot, but it pays off, or you listen to your feelings, you feel good as well, but then for feeling good, you sacrifice consistency and discipline and some of the other virtues required to continue succeeding. And somewhere that held on a negative connotation about massive success in my own mind too, because of which may sound crazy, but I'm being very honest with you here. I was creating a lot of dreams and visions, but I was not specifying them with the kind of detail needed to actually make them happen. And I realized my resistance and barrier was that I somewhere felt that success would entail a sacrifice. So subconsciously, I wanted to avoid and resist that success. Now, the day I got clarity on this idea and this dichotomy that either you listen to your emotions and go with the flow and end up messing the plans, or you ignore your emotions, suppress yourself, sacrifice, and follow the plan but get greatness. When I finally broke out of this dichotomous thinking, I was able to realize one very powerful truth. And that truth is you can have it all. I know I'm a big believer of saying it's not this or that, it's this and that. And that lesson came back to me as well when I realized that the way we are understanding feelings and moods is fundamentally flawed, because of which it feels like emotions are either supporting you or they're limiting you. That emotions are either positive or they're negative. And that is why we get stuck. I want to help you get that complete clarity here. But before that, I want to show you what's possible when you step out of this. So, the moment I was out of the confusion, the most beautiful thing that happened for me is that I started to dream bigger than I've ever dreamt before. And I'm a big dreamer. I know it. I have the craziest wishes about the things I want to make possible. But after I was okay with the idea that success would not actually mean a lot of sacrifice for me, I was able to dream even bigger and think about the things that fulfilled me. So, for example, if earlier one of my dreams was, and I'm sharing this with you on a public platform as well, it's to start a school where we have all these foundational concepts of life taught, not just like academics, but as actual skills to children from a very young age. So the challenges that we face in our adult life, those challenges our future generations don't have to face. That's a dream vision that I have. And earlier, for some reason, I'd limited that to just one school. I thought that's a big deal too. But then, when I got rid of this confusion, and I realized that your emotions are not keeping you stuck, and that it's not about sacrificing, and that you can get to success in a much different way by understanding the true nuance of how emotions play a big role in your success. I instantly, not if that I forced it to, but instantly my mind started to think about 100, 1,000 different schools just like that, all across the country, all across the world. Like in every area of my goals, whether it be in my health or whether it be in my profession or whether it be in my relationships, the level of dreams I saw with confidence literally 10x the day this dichotomy ended. And I want to help you get that same powerful result. So here's the main core thing I want you to understand. We use three words very interchangeably. We use the word mood, feeling, and emotion as an interchangeable vocabulary for each other, but that's the greatest mistake we make, because of which our emotions and our feelings, rather than supporting us, they keep us stuck. So I want you to understand this from a very foundational level. Now I'm going to define each of these terms and how they differ and what role they play in our lives and how they make us feel, and above all, what role they play in our success, because of which big dreams not only feel good but also feel possible, because then you start taking action on them. So let me start by defining to you what the word mood means, okay? If I had to put it very simply, mood is a temporary heightened state where you're experiencing a very, how do I say? It's a very overwhelming emotion. That's the right term for it. So, a mood is a temporary heightened state of experiencing an overwhelming emotion. Now, right now, you're watching this video, right? You're probably in a more passive, introspective, learning, and curious mode as you're listening to this. Now, if suddenly you shift and you start jumping around and your mood completely shifts, the amazing thing that happens is you get high energy. But if that's high energy too much, your receptivity to learning goes down, because your mind is too active. And for you to learn better, there needs to be a certain passivity in the activity of the mind so the ideas can be absorbed within. So, mood is a temporary state of heightened emotions that you feel whenever there's an overwhelming sense of an emotion taking over you. So, when people are sad and depressed and crying for no reason, it's not permanent, it's a mood. When people are feeling very happy for no reason, or when they're very happy about an achievement, it doesn't last forever. So, it's a mood. The problem is, we think of moods as everlasting emotions. I'll tell you more about this once we define all the three terms, okay? Now comes the term feeling. How do we define feelings? Very simply, those are the things you feel in your heart and in your mind and in your body. We think our feelings come from our soul, but really our feelings live in our body. Where do you feel anxiety the most if you think about it? Your chest, your stomach region, maybe even your legs and hands if they start shaking. Where do you feel fear? In your face when it tenses up. Where do you feel joy? When your smile relaxes. And where do you feel comfort and safety? That moment you're with a loved one and you just drop your shoulders, because you know what? This is safe here. I love this place. So all those states that we experience in our body, that's a feeling. Now a feeling can, if this feeling is there, only then a mood can exist, okay? The temporary heightened state. But feelings can exist even if your mood is something different. For example, how many of you have done this? And I'm sure you'll have experienced feeling this and thinking about this. Inside you're trembling. Inside you're anxious. Outside there's a perfect smile on your face. No one can even guess you're going through anything. Be honest, you've put on that act at some point or the other, haven't you? But because you have, the crazy thing that happens is, that's the difference between your mood and your feeling. In that moment, your mood is happy and calm and sorted, but your feelings are not, because your body is feeling something different. I really want you to get this crucial distinction. This is where your emotional freedom lies. So, your mood is a temporary state that can only exist when an underlying feeling is there. But do the feelings and the mood always have to be the same? Not at all. They can be different. Most people assume they have to be the same. That's where the problem comes. Now comes the third state, which is called emotion. Now, if I to very simply define emotion, it is energy in motion. That is it. Through our body, our mind, our activities, our interactions with people, we are passing an energy in motion. Now, if that energy is heavy and negative, it pulls us down. If that energy is light and positive, it pushes us upwards. Positive emotions have a light and happy and forward looking end to them. That's why they empower us to be better. Empowerment itself is an emotion. Now, these are more longer term states, and honestly, human beings cannot live without emotions. That's the crucial thing I want you to understand. Emotions are a part of our everyday being. Joy, empathy, love, belonging, cared for, sadness, negativity, insecurity, underconfidence, confidence. We have added words to those states, but essentially that's an energy that's moving through your mind, body, soul, life, environment, and relationships that defines the way you feel, and the feeling has an effect on the mood that you have. Now, let me break down these layers for you in an incredibly simplified way, okay? Mood is temporary, which is created by the feeling. But do the feeling and the mood have to be the same? No, they can be different. Just like that, feelings cannot exist if an energy is not in motion within you, okay? And if the energy is not in motion, you're dead. Essentially, that's what it is. Even your heartbeat is energy in motion. So every living moment of our lives, we have an energy that's moving in us. But a lot of people today report feeling very lonely. They report feeling very numb, as if they have no feelings and no emotions. That's not true. They are not feeling anything, but the energy is still in motion in them. It's a heavy, negative, sad energy. They are not acknowledging it as well, maybe, but the energy in motion is still there. Without that energy, nothing in life can happen. Now, the problem is we consider our moods to be our emotions, we consider our feelings to be our moods, we consider our deeper emotions to just be a mood. And so, what happens there is you try to change your emotions by changing your mood, and it doesn't work. You try to change your feelings by trying to work through just a negative emotion that's very heavy, and that doesn't work. Any instant shift that feels temporary feels good, but eventually the same patterns and the same emotion and the same negativity keep coming back to you. And that's why this distinction is so crucial to understand. So, when it comes to succeeding in life, you need emotions. You need to be aware of your insecurities. You need to be aware of your fears. You need to be aware of what makes you confident, what makes you feel good, what makes you go out there and feel fulfilled. That feeling, that emotion, that energy that moves through you is what gives you the passion, the drive, the focus, the excellence, whatever it may be, to create results in the area that you want in your life. So, without emotions, success cannot be there. But your success does not have to depend on your mood. That's the distinction I want you to understand. 90% of people make this mistake where they make their success dependent on their mood. They say, you know what? I'm not feeling good today. I'm not going to do anything. And their consistency goes down the drain. They say, I don't know if I can really do it, and I'm doubting myself, and I'm anxious, and all of that. And just because someone said something to them that triggered them, they're giving up on their dream, they're giving up on the goal, they're giving up on the impact that they can create, because they're focusing on the impact of the mood. They're making the mood a permanent state and making decisions from that flawed perspective, rather than understanding emotions are different, feelings are different, and moods are different. So if you're not in the mood of working, that's no excuse for not working. If you're not in the mood of having a hard conversation with your life partner or your friends, that's not something to use as an excuse to not do the thing. My emotions weren't aligned. No, that's not the case. Your mood wasn't there. There's a difference. Mood is just a temporary state of an overwhelming emotion. It passes. But then if you just believe the faction of society that says, to hell with your emotions, just focus on the goal, you become a zombie. You become numb. And none of the success you create feels fulfilling. Then, even if there's $1 million in the bank, like, what's the point of the $1 million if I am so messed up within? So, emotions are crucial for success. Your mood is not. So the guilt and the heaviness that we carry, that working on our emotions is weak work, that working on our emotions is just a distraction and we're taking ourselves away. No, it's about sorting out the energy that's in motion through your life, through your body, through your work. And the day that energy is sorted, your feelings and moods start to get better. If your constant emotion is one of happiness, joy, and worthiness, does that mean that your mood will never go off? No. You will have moods of frustration. You will have sometimes feelings of anxiety and insecurity, but they are not going to be permanent. And once you understand the three distinctions, by looking at your life and by looking at what's the energy in motion versus what are you just feeling versus what's your temporary mood right now, you'll be able to see the anxiety doesn't define me, the fear doesn't define me, the negativity is also here to help me, and deep down, I am aligned to a positive energy in motion. So, just because there is a temporary shift in my moods, I'm okay with that. I know I'm in control of it and I can handle it. And that's how you become an effective business leader. That's how you become effective at whatever you want to do in your life. We talk a lot about emotional intelligence. And when we talk about emotional intelligence, we think and we say it's about being aware of your emotions. Well, it's not just that. It's about understanding when you're feeling whatever you're feeling, rather than judging it and pushing it away, you acknowledge it. You bring it into these categories and you ask yourself, is it a mood, a feeling, or an emotion? And when you get your honest answer, you're able to work without guilt, without pressure, without any unnecessary overthinking that bothers you throughout the day. So the reason this dichotomy gave me so much clarity is I finally understood it's not that emotions are bad for success. It's the mood that is bad because it's too short term and inconsistent. Emotions, on the other hand, are needed because they are the underlying patterns that define your energy in motion. This sortedness brings a lot of clarity in our lives and shows us what we really need to focus on rather than just the temporary ups and downs that are part of our everyday life. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this gives you a lot more clarity. And when you create this categories in your head and when you become aware of the differences between your moods, feelings, and emotions, I'm telling you, life is going to feel so simple and amazing and powerful that you'll be amazed at the magic you are creating. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you once again tomorrow for the 70th session at 8:30 p.m. IST. Bye. See you soon.